Welcome to Pure Yoga Strength and Conditioning class. So today we're going to take you through some different moves that's going to strengthen the body in that centre of the body. So it's all about glute and hamstring strength, it's about abdominal strength, lower back strength, upper back strength. So all of that core sit in the middle of the body so we get good functional mobility. So I'm going to be taking you through poses that will start in supine, laying on the back, then we'll bring you to seated work, then we'll bring you to prone work, either on the belly or in plank positions, and then we'll bring you into some standing work. Now all of this is going to be core strength, but also to get some shoulder strength as well when we come into the plank work. So this all helps us get good functional movement so that we can go through our everyday life in a way where we can hold our body in its best possible way. We'll be working with the breath a little bit, and we call it recruitment breath. So we take a lot of the moves in strength work on the exhale. So we will make our limbs longer when we breathe out. And we have to do it on the breath out to find that core engagement. So if you just place your hands on top of your belly, take a breath in, and on your out breath, really squeeze that belly back with a sharp exhale. Breathe in. Breathe in. So if you think when you breathe out and that belly gets recruited back, the belly button comes back towards the spine, that's when we're going to take the long lever movements. And we're going to think about that recruitment when we're holding places like plank or side plank, and that gives a core stability in the centre. And when we're doing rotations, I want you to think about the shoulders are just coming along for the journey really when we rotate. It's more about having that tether of the ribs and hips. So in a normal stance, to keep the pelvis neutral, we think of the ribs and hips tethering towards each other to keep that abdominal strength. When we take a rotation, we think of that diagonal movement. So it would be the right rib towards the left hip, as though we're squeezing that space closer. So structural standing anatomical position, it's top and bottom rib tether. If it's rotation, it's opposite hip to opposite rib. So let's get started. Think about your breath through the whole way. If this class feels a little bit too challenging, I have done a slightly easier class as well that runs alongside this for this week. So come to laying on your back. Bring the feet to the front of the mat and bring the shoulders down towards the floor. Just take a moment just to find a neutral pelvis. So just place the hands on your hip bones. Feel like you're pushing your lower belly towards the front of the mat and your lower tailbone to the back of the mat. So we take an arch in this back here. Then we're going to take, this is classed as anterior tilt. Then we'll take it in the opposite direction. So feel like you're pushing the tailbone to the front of the mat and the lower belly to the top of the mat. And that lifts that bum slightly away from the floor, which brings posterior tilt. Take it back into an anterior tilt again. So feel like you're pushing the lower belly to the front of the mat and the tailbone to the top of the mat, and we create an arch in the back. Then we take it to the opposite direction, bring the lower belly up and the tailbone pushing away. Do that a couple of more times, moving in and out of those two extreme places. Anterior tilt when the back arches and comes away from the mat, and a posterior tilt when the lower part of the spine lifts away from the floor and we go into an arch in the belly. One more time in both directions. And then when you've taken both directions, I want you to find that neutral place. So now we're thinking about that lower back being pushed into the mat. This is when you find a good, functional, stable place. Think about that breath now. Place the hands on the belly. Breathe in. As you breathe out, sharp exhale out and draw that belly back towards the spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Short breath, sharp breath, back, belly towards the spine. So this we're recruiting. So that exhale is when the belly draws back. So we're going to add a movement into this pose. So just bring the feet so they're just slightly away from the bum. Let the elbows relax to the floor. Keep pushing that lower back into the mat. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift the right knee. Breathe in. Exhale, replace that right foot to the floor. Breathe in. Exhale, lift the left knee. Try not to let that belly brace, like blow up. Breathe in. Replace that left foot to the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. Contract, lift. Breathe in. Contract, lower. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift the left knee. Breathe in. And lower. One more time on both times. Breathe in. Contract the belly back. Lift the right knee. Breathe in. Contract. And lower. One more time on the left. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift. Breathe in. Breathe out. Contract. Lower. So all that time, this lower back's been pushed into the mat. The bum isn't lifting, it's just nice and level, but we're not arching that lower back either. So all that time, that recruitment's been held there. So we're just going to take that into something slightly more challenging. So bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Just lift the body up now into a bridge position. We're keeping the hands down to stabilize the body. I don't want it to come up into an extended bridge, just a nice level bridge. So we're going to take that exact same recruitment again. So as you breathe in, the belly blows up. As you breathe out, it contracts and we lift a leg. So we're going to be lifting the right leg first. Hands come to stabilize the body. Breathe in, breathe out, and put the weight into the left foot. Lift the right leg out and straighten the leg. Breathe in, breathe out, and lower. Breathe in, breathe out, recruit, weight into the right foot, lift the left leg. Breathe in, breathe out, and lower. Breathe in, breathe out, weight into the left leg, reach out with the right leg, trying to keep these hips nice and stable. Breathe in, breathe out, and lower. Breathe in, breathe out, weight into the right leg, lift the left leg. Breathe in, breathe out, and lower. All the time keeping that nice long line. Breathe in, breathe out, recruit, lift the right leg. Breathe in, breathe out, and lower. One more time on the left. Breathe in, breathe out, recruit, lift the left leg. Breathe in, breathe out, and lower. Bring the hips back to the floor. Just bring the arms to a T shape. Let the knees go over to one side. Bring it back through center. Let the knees go over to the other. Just to have a little neutralization of that spine. Bring the knees back into the center. Again, find that neutral spine. So not in an arch in the back, not lifting the bum away. Find that flat back to the floor. Push the shoulders into the mat. Then just bring the thumbs just underneath that bum. Reach up with both legs, so straightening one leg up first, then straightening the other. And we're going into leg lowers. So remembering that recruitment, the exhale is when you lower the leg, the inhale is when you lift the leg. So take a nice long breath in. And a long breath out, draw the belly back and lower the right leg to the floor. Keep pushing that lower spine into the mat. Your next breath in, raise that right leg. Next breath out, lower the left. Keep that belly drawing back, lower spine pushing into the mat, shoulders pushing into the floor. Breathe in, raise that left leg. Breathe out, lower the right leg. Breathe in, lift that right leg. Breathe out, recruit the belly and lower the left leg. Breathe in, lift the left leg. Don't let that lower back arch. Breathe out and lower the right leg. Think about those rib and hip tethers. Breathe in, raise the right leg. Breathe out, lower the left leg. Breathe in, lift the left leg. One more time on both sides. Breathe out, lower the right leg. Keep pushing that lower spine into the mat, shoulders into the floor. Breathe in, raise the right leg. Breathe out, lower the left leg. Breathe in, lift the left leg. Breathe out, bring the knees into the chest and just give those knees a hug. Maybe just have a little rock of that body from side to side. So just massaging maybe into that lower back a little bit, making circles with the knees on the ceiling, and then make circles in the opposite direction. So keeping the knees now at a 90-degree angle from the hips. The feet come up to a 90-degree angle to the knees. Bring the hands now behind the head. So we're going to take a rotation now. So think about the right hip tethering to the left, and the right rib tethering to the left hip, and the left rib tethering to the right hip. Bring the hands behind the head. Try not to pull on the neck. Bring the head away from the floor. Breathe in. As you breathe out, recruit that belly back. Bring your right elbow to the left knee and straighten the right leg out. Breathe in, come back to the center. Breathe out, draw the belly back, left rib to right hip. Breathe in, back to the center. Breathe out, straighten the right leg, right elbow, left knee, right rib to left hip, back to the center. And the same the other side. Left elbow, right knee, left leg straight, left rib to right hip. Back to the center. All the time taking the movement on the exhale, the recruit of the belly back. Breathe in, back to the center. And again, left elbow, right knee, squeeze left rib to right hip. Back to the center. One more on both sides, right elbow, left knee, straighten the right leg, back to the center, keep that recruitment of the belly, breathe out, draw the belly back, left elbow, right knee, straighten the left leg, back to the center, release the head to the floor, give those knees a squeeze. Maybe just have a little rock of that body, maybe a little rotation of the knees in one direction, and then take them to the other direction. Bring those knees back into the chest, and we're going to take those bicycles again. Bring the knees over the hips, heels in line with the knees, hands behind the back of the head. Take a breath in, lift the shoulders away. As you breathe out, right elbow, left knee, straighten the right leg, right rib to left hip. Breathe in, back to the center. Breathe out, recruit, left elbow, right knee. Breathe in, back to the center. Breathe out, right elbow, left knee, straighten the right leg, right rib to left hip. Back to the center. Left elbow, right knee, left rib, right hip. Back to the center. Try not to pull on that neck. Keep pushing that lower spine into the mat. Keep that abdominal contraction as you breathe out. One more time on both sides. Right elbow, left knee. Squeeze right rib to left hip. back to the center. One more time with the left elbow, right knee, straighten the left leg. Back to the center. Bring the knees into the chest. Give those knees a squeeze. Maybe have a rock of the body. Maybe just bring those knees in one direction. Back through the opposite way. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Then just place the hands down by the sides of the body. Just put the thumbs just underneath the bum. And we're going to take it into water wheel. So bring the knees into the chest. Exhale, raise the feet up to the ceiling, straight legs. As you exhale, keep pushing that lower spine into the mat. Draw the belly back on the exhale to lower to the legs. Breathe in, bring the knees back into the chest. Out, lower the legs straight towards the mat to hover. Keep pushing the lower spine in. Breathe in, bring the knees into the chest, feet up to the floor. Push the shoulder blades down. As you breathe out, start to lower those legs towards the mat. Keep drawing the belly in. Next breath in, bring the knees to the chest, feet up to the floor. Your exhale is when you lower. Keep pushing that lower back into the mat. Breathe in, bring the knees into the chest, feet up to the floor, ceiling. As you breathe out, lower the feet towards the floor. Keep that recruitment in the belly. Breathe in. Feet up to the ceiling. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out and lower. Breathe in. Breathe out and lower. One more time, breathe in. Keep that lower spine pushed into the mat. Breathe in, bring the knees back into the chest. Give those knees a squeeze. Maybe a little rock of that body from side to side. Maybe making circles with the knees in one direction. Massage that lower back. Take them to the other way. So bring the feet back to the floor. We're just going to let the knees drop out to the side just to allow that stretch on the inside of those thighs. Just holding it for a couple of breaths here. Then I'd like you to lift those feet away. So we're still in this butterfly angle pose. Bring the hands, palms together in the center, and we're going to do 10 pulses, reaching our fingertips towards our toes. Bring the head away from the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, pump. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring the knees into the chest. Give the knees a squeeze. Then release those knees. Turn them outwards. Soles of the feet come together. Palms in the center. Take a breath in. And pause. Eight, 9, 10. Bring the knees back in. And again, one more time. Soles of the feet come together, knees are apart. Lift the shoulders, breathe in. And pause. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Bring the knees back into the chest. Squeeze them in. Then take a hold of the creases of the knees. Just rock up and down that spine a few times. Up to seated once, twice, and 3 times. Making your way into that space between the sit bones and the lower spine. So we're going to do a few boat moves here. So you have choices to hold on to the legs if you wish. Take a roll of the shoulders. Send them back towards the hips. Find that balancing point. Take a breath in. Breath out, raise the right leg. Breath in. Breath out, raise the left leg. Try and internally rotate the thighs. So feel like you're turning those thighs inward. Point through the toes. If you wish to remove the hands away from the knees, bring the arms to shoulder height. Holding it in boat for the count of 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the feet to the floor, give the knees a hug. Grow tall through the spine, relax through the shoulders, then just bring that forehead towards the knees and just relax in that neck. We're going to take it again back into boat. This time we're going to add on some longer limbs. So you can either start with the hands under the knees or the arms straight out. Take a breath in. Breath out, lift that right foot. Breath in. Breath out, recruit the belly and lift that left foot. Now we're both legs are lifted. Take another breath in. If you want to come with me, raise the right leg. Breath in. And raise the left leg. Or stay with knees bent for the count of 10. 9, 8, 7, keep the spines tall. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the feet, hug the knees, lengthen the back, bring the forehead to the knees, stretch the back of that neck. Just bring the hands behind. Just let the knees drop over to the right side, shoulders face that front edge of the mat. Just neutralize that spine a little bit, let those hip flexors relax a little. Bring them back to the center, take the knees over to the left, shoulders still face forward, stretching through the hip flexors a little bit here. Bring those knees back into center, and we're going to take it again to add on some extra longer limbs. Remember, stop at whatever challenges you at whatever point. Arms come out, shoulder height. Take a breath in. Exhale, recruit the belly, lift the right leg. Find that balancing point. Breath in. Exhale, recruit, lift the left leg. Breathe in. Exhale, lift the right leg higher if you're coming with me. Breath in. Exhale, lift the left leg. Breath in. Exhale, lift the right arm. Breath in. Exhale, lift the left arm. Breath in. And hold the pose for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the feet, bring the arms around those knees, lengthen the spine, bring that forehead to the knees, tuck the chin into the chest, stretch the back of that neck. Then bring the hands behind, let the knees drop over to your right side, shoulders face forward, twist through the waist. Bring those knees back into the center. This time take the knees over to the left side, shoulders still facing forward, twisting the waist, stretching through those thighs a little. Bring those knees back into center. This time we're going to take ourselves into boat to low boat. So finding our point first, if you want to grab a hold of the knees, feel free to do so. Roll the shoulders back, find your balancing point. Take a breath in. Recruit that belly back and lift the right leg. Breathe in. Recruit the belly back, lift the left leg. Bring the arms away. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, low boat. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out, low boat. Breathe in, lift. Keep the knees bent. Breathe out, straighten the legs, low boat. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, low boat. Breathe in, lift. 5 more, breathe out, low boat. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, low boat. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, low boat. 3 more, breathe in, lift. Breathe out, low boat. 2 more, breathe in, lift. Breathe out, low boat. 1 more, breathe in, lift. Breathe out, low boat. Breathe in, lift. Bump the feet to the floor, grab a hold of the knees, straighten up through the back, bring the chin into the chest and stretch the back of the neck. So straightening the legs out in front of you, bums in the centre of the mat. Bring the hands behind the bum. So we're going to work a little bit of glute strength here. Take a bend into both knees, feet flat on the floor. So the fingertips can point in or out depending on what you have in your wrist mobility and range of movement. This can be a little bit tight on the wrists if they're pointing inwards, so it resists that a little bit if you point them out. So push into the feet, push into the hands, squeeze the bum as you bring yourself up into a tabletop position. The gaze is just in front of you. Try not to scrunch the chin in towards the chest too much. Keep pushing into those hands, keep pushing into the feet. Try and squeeze the bum to lift the hips a little higher. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. Keep that strength in the shoulders. Taking them shoulders into extension. Push strong into those feet. Then with control, slowly lower the bum down. Bring it through the hands. So you now have to push into the hands to create a little space for the bum to go. And roll that bum through, come onto the heels. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Then again, slowly bring yourself back up to that tabletop position in reverse. Squeeze the bum as you lift those hips high. So we're really using the muscles in that back chain now. So the glutes, the upper hamstrings, the lower back muscles. We're really working the mobility of the shoulders. Squeeze the bum, lift the hips a little higher. And then again, take that bum slowly down. Push into the hands as the bum starts to come through to create some space. Let the bum come through. Push into the hands strong. Come onto the heels of the feet. Push up into the hands a little stronger. And then lower that bum to the mat. Give those hands a shake. Now your choice can be going back into tabletop again, reverse. Or if you're coming with me, we're going to be making these legs longer. So this challenges the push of the hips a little more. So again, bring those hands behind you, fingertips in towards the bum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Heels are pushing into the floor and we're aiming to get those toes towards the mat as we push up with our hips. Push into the hands strong. Push into the heels. Squeeze the bum as you lift the hips up to a reverse plank and point those toes towards the front of the mat. So you can either hold it here or push the weight into that left heel and raise that right leg towards the ceiling. Hold it for a breath. Then as you breathe out, release it back to the floor. Take a breath in. As you exhale, put the weight into your right heel and lift that left leg. Hold it there for a breath. As you exhale, release that foot to the floor. Push into the heels, lift the hips, toes towards the mat. And then with control, bring that bum back down to the floor. Come off the wrists, give those wrists a little rotation. And we'll take it back to that space again. So you don't have to lift the legs if you don't want to. You can just stay in that space of reverse plank or reverse tabletop. Now, if the wrists are starting to feel a little sore, bring yourself down onto your elbows to take the next one. If If you're coming with me, fingertips pointing in or fingertips pointing out, squeeze the shoulder blades together, push into those heels, start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, bringing the toes towards the mat, the gaze up, push into that left heel, lift that right leg, hold it there for a breath, squeeze that left bum cheek, release that right foot back to the floor, take a breath in. As you exhale, push into the right heel, raise the left leg up to the ceiling. Hold it there for a breath. Then release that left foot back down to the floor. Release the hips down to the mat. Come off the wrists. Give those wrists a little rotation. And then make your way on to all fours. So swing the legs around or tuck the feet under. Bring the hands forward into that tabletop. Heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet flat. Reach out with your right hand, but suck that belly back to get that connection in the center. Try not to let the back arch as you lift that right arm. Then send the left toes to the back of the mat. On your exhale, draw the belly back. Then raise that left ankle, that left toes away from the mat without arching in that lower spine. Keep that core connection. Keep pushing that left heel back. Use the glute to lift that left leg. Holding it here for the count of 10. Try not to let the belly sink. Push into that left hand. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the right hand, release the left knee. Move the hips from side to side. All the time remembering this connection of the belly, drawing it back towards the spine. So this time your weight goes into your right hand. Recruit the belly back on the exhale. Lift the left arm out in front of you. Take the right toes back. Then squeeze that right bum cheek as you lift that right leg without arching that lower back. Keep the hips nice and neutral. For the count of 10, keep pushing into the right hand. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the left hand, release the right knee, and just move those hips from side to side. So keeping both hands grounded. Again, we're keeping that recruitment in the belly, squeezing that belly back to the spine, pushing into the hands to push the chest away from the mat. And we're going to do leg raises out to the side. So putting your weight into your left knee, raise your right leg on your exhale up to the side. Inhale, bring it back to meet the left knee. Exhale, raise. Inhale, lower. Exhale, raise. Inhale, lower. Exhale, raise. Inhale, lower. I think that's 5. Exhale, raise. Lower. Try and keep the hips as neutral as you can. Inhale, raise. Lower. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Bring your weight now into your right knee. Next breath in. On your exhale, lift the left knee out to the side and lower. Exhale, lift and lower. 2. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 4. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 5. 6. 7. 8. Really squeeze the outside of that left hip. 9. And 10. Widen the knees, bring the sit bones back to the heels, reach the arms forward, bring the forehead to the mat. Just take a couple of breaths here. Restore that breath, stretch that lower back, stretch through the hips, stretch through those glutes. Before we take it onto our belly, to do some thoracic extension. So we're strengthening those muscles in the upper part of the back, and some Supermans. So come onto the belly, bring that chest down, bring the hands underneath the head, foreheads onto the top of the stacked hands. So I'd like you to think about that recruitment again. So it's almost like you're pushing the hips into the mat, but squeezing the belly away from the floor. Squeeze the glutes, push into the tops of the feet, and the only part we're going to be moving is the upper body. Take a breath in. On the exhale, recruit the belly back and lift the hands away from the floor. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift. Keep pushing those hips in. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift. Keep the squeeze of that belly back. Breath in, lower. 2 more. Breath out, lift. Elbows and hands come away. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift. And lower. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Turn onto the right cheek and just allow the body to relax for a couple of breaths. Bring the forehead then back to the mat. Make sure you've got space in front of you. Reaching the arms forward, feet hip width apart. And we're keeping the forehead on the mat here, and we're raising opposite arm to opposite leg. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, raise the right arm and the left leg. Breath in, lower. Breath out, raise the left arm and the right leg. Breath in, lower. Breath out, right arm, left leg. Breath in, lower. Breath out, left arm, right leg. Breath in, lower. Opposite side. Breath in, lower. Breath out, lift the left arm, right leg. Breath in, lower. Opposite side. Breath in, lower. One more on both sides. And turn onto the left cheek, bend the elbows, just take a moment, relaxing on that mat, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing through the hips and the bum. Making our way then into our plank positions, starting with forearm planks. So come onto the forearms, make train tracks with the forearms. Then tuck under with the toes. Draw the belly back on the exhale as you lift the hips into one nice long line from the crown of the head to the heels. So I really want you to engage in those shoulders here. So you push your body Really strongly, those forearms into the mat. Elbows under the shoulders. An equal distance between the hands and the elbows. Squeeze the upper thighs, lift those kneecaps, squeeze the bum, engage through those glutes. Squeeze the belly back, that abdominal strength. Feel like you're pushing that chest cavity into the space between the shoulder blades. Holding it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the right hand in, roll onto your right side. Left foot stacking on top of the right. Left hand on the left hip. Really squeeze the bum, push the hips forward. Everything in line. Maybe raise that left hand up to the ceiling for 10, 9, 8, 7, squeeze these obliques, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center, full forearm plank. Again, push into those forearms, chest away, heels back, crown forward for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the left hand in, roll onto your left side. Right foot stacks on top of the left. Right hand on the hip or up to the ceiling. Push the hips forward, nice long line. For 10, 9, keep the hips lifted. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, squeeze the bum, 2, 1, forearm plank. Squeeze those upper thighs, squeeze the bum, belly back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees. Find yourself in child's pose for a couple of breaths. Just stretch out that lower back, stretch out through the arms. If you wish to bring the hands down by the sides of the body just to take some pressure off those shoulders. Take a couple of restorative breaths in child's pose. If you wish to take any water, feel free to take some water on before we go into the next variation of plank, which will be on our hands. So full plank position, and we'll be holding in full plank to side plank, full plank to the opposite side, back to full plank, and then coming back to the knees. If at any point you need to drop the knees, feel free to do so. Find your place, widen the fingers, step both feet back to the back of the mat. Shoulders over the heel of the hands. Heels are pushing as far back as we can. Hips aren't too low and sunken. We're engaging and recruiting in that center of the body, drawing that belly back, pushing into the hands, pushing the chest cavity into the space between the shoulder blades. A little softness through the elbows to switch on those biceps and triceps. Holding it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, squeeze the bum, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll onto your right side, either dropping that base knee or stacking both feet, lifting the left hand, softening the right elbow, pushing energetically into that right hand, keeping the hips lifted, maybe gazing forward or up towards that left thumb for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, push the hips forward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that left hand down, full plank position. Remember, you can drop the knees if you need to. Squeeze the heels back, crown forward for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, draw the belly back, squeeze the bum, lift the kneecaps, 3, 2, 1. Roll on to that left hand, left foot, right foot stacks. Either drop the base knee if you need to. Raise the right hand, push the hips forward. Keep the level hips in line with the rest of the body for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full plank. Knees dropped or knees lifted for 10, 9, belly back, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the hips to down dog. Feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Finding some rest in the downward facing dog or just taking child's pose for a couple of breaths. Keep squeezing those heels back, the shoulder blades, depression towards those hips. Create some space between those ears and those shoulders. So from this point, we're going to be taking it to plank, to low plank, to plank, back to down dog. So really think about that squeeze of that belly, the squeeze of the glutes as you lower to low plank to high plank. Remember, when you come to plank, you can drop the knees to bring yourself to low plank if you wish. I will take that variation for the first one so you know where you're going. So take a breath in, come forward to plank. Take a breath out, drop the knees, bend the elbows, low plank. Push into the hands, lift the chest. High plank and back to down dog. So the next one I will be doing straight legs. Come forward to plank, lower to low plank, push back up to high plank, back to down dog. So 4 more of these. Come forward to plank, lower to low plank, elbows graze the ribs, push back up to high plank, back to down dog. 5 more. Come forward to plank, lower to low plank, elbows graze the ribs, push to high plank, back to down dog. 3 more. Come forward to plank, release to low plank, drop the knees if you need to, push to high plank, back to down dog. 2 more. Come forward to plank. Make sure those elbows graze the ribs as you lower. Keep the belly strong. High plank, down dog. 1 more time, forward to plank, low plank, elbows touch the ribs, high plank, back to down dog. Come back onto the knees. Either find child's pose with the arms down by the sides of the body or reaching forward. Or maybe like me, it's time to take a drink. So the next plank variation we're going to do is we'll be holding it in plank with one arm reaching forward and one foot reaching back. So opposite hand to opposite leg. Give those shoulders a little movement, a little shake of those ribs. So if you're managing to get through all of this with good form, well done to you. Remember, it's all about recruiting this center space, squeezing the bum, squeezing the thighs, really engaging those shoulders as you hold plank. Working really hard, guys. So find yourself back into downward facing dog. Stepping the feet back, lifting the hips. squeezing the heels towards the floor. Have a nod and a shake of the head. Come forward to a plank position. Find that recruitment in the belly. Fingers plugged into the mat. Reach your right arm forward. Put the weight into your right toes and lift that left leg. Hold it here for a couple of breaths, trying to find that stability in the center. Pushing that left heel back, right fingertips forward. Hold it just for another couple of breaths. Release that right hand down, left toes down. Find yourself back to down dog. Reach your right hand to your left knee, shin, ankle, and just twist it out, looking underneath that left armpit. Pushing into that left hand. Then reach back forward with that right hand. Place it back into your downward facing dog position. Come forward to a plank. Find your stability in plank first. Recruit that center, draw the belly back, put the weight into your right hand, lift the left hand. Then lift the right toes up so that heel comes up to near on hip height. Keep pushing into that right hand, reaching through the left fingertips, reaching through the right heel. Hold it here just for one more breath. Release that left hand down, take the hips back to down dog. Put the weight into the right hand, reach the left hand towards the right knee, right shin, right ankle, and just twist it out, looking under that right armpit. Release that hand back to down dog, push those chests back, come onto the knees, give those hands a shake. We have one more shoulder stability to do, which is dolphin. So I'll just tuck my t-shirt in a little bit here so I'm not flashing. So making your way back onto your forearms. Track those arms like railway tracks. To find that space in between, fingertips come to the end of the elbows, then turn the hands out, and that should be a good alignment for your dolphin. Palms flat. Tuck the toes under, then lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back, take a gaze back towards those toes, walk them in a little closer if you've got that range of movement, trying to think about the intention of getting those heels towards the floor. Squeeze and tether the ribs and hips, put your weight into your left foot, raise the right leg up to the ceiling, try and keep the hips nice and level, encouraging that left heel down, right heel lifting, pushing into those forearms, try not to collapse in the shoulders, try and push that chest up, really engaging through the mobility of those shoulders and the functional movement of those shoulders. Left heel squeezing down as much as you can, engagement through that belly. Bring your right foot down, replace it where it came from, put the weight into that right foot, lift that left leg up to the ceiling, engage through the shoulders, push into those forearms, right heel squeezing down, get a stretch down that back chain of muscles, left leg lifting up, pointing the heel away, toes back towards the shins. One more breath here, then release that left foot back down, come onto the knees. Bring the arms down by the side of the legs, forehead to the floor into embryo position, knees together. Just take a moment here, either to restore the breath or maybe take on some water. If you're like me, my body's getting extremely hot. So we tend to work up a lot more heat when we slow things down because it expects more of your body to hold the poses. So we have another dolphin variation. This time the fingertips are going to be interlaced and we're going to move from chin towards mat and back again to strengthen up those shoulders. If you just want to stay in dolphin and strengthen them where they are, feel free to do so. Remember, this class is the advanced one. If you want to take it a little easier, take your choice to go to the mindful strength class. So finding that stack up again, checking the elbows, fingertips at the ends of the elbows, then bring the hands together, interlace the fingers. So the outside edges of the hands are pushing into the mat. Tuck your toes under, lift up your hips, push into those forearms, gaze back towards those toes. Walk those feet slightly forward if you can, encouraging the heels down. Try and push nice and strong into those forearms to connect and engage through those shoulders. So choice can either to be stay here. If you wish to go to leg lifts again, feel free to do so. If you're coming with me, your next exhale brings that forehead over and touch the mat in front of the hands. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out and touch. Breathe in, lift. 4 more. Breathe out and touch. Breathe in, lift. 3 more. Out and touch. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out and touch. Breathe in, lift. Keep pushing into those forearms. 2 more. Breathe out, touch. Breathe in, lift. 1 more. Breathe out, touch. Breathe in, lift. Come back to the knees. Embryo position, arms down by the side of the legs, forehead to the mat. Take a moment here just to restore that breath. So we're going to be taking 2 more poses, which will be in a standing position, which we're going to make our way through to via stepping the foot through. So we're going to be taking our 45-degree angle of lunge and our 45-degree angle of side stretch, which will expect quite a lot of your oblique muscles and the strength muscles in the back. So those erector spinae muscles, those QL muscles. Always think still about that recruitment back of the belly. That's what's going to support your corset, rib and hip tether. If we're doing the rotation or that side stretch, think about rib and hip opposites to hold the pose. Make your way to down dog, placing the hands down first, lifting the hips, back to down dog, squeezing those heels back. Take a gaze back towards the toes. Breath in, raise up with the right leg. Try and squeeze that right leg high without hoinking through that right hip. Use the glute strength to lift that heel higher. Bring the knee into the chest, squeeze it in. Bring the shoulders over the heel of the hands. Hold it in that squeeze, push into the hands, push the chest away from the floor. Then take the knee to the right elbow, take it to the right wrist. Take it to the left wrist, take it up to the right elbow, back to the middle, raise the leg back to the ceiling, keep the hip nice and neutral. Try and lift through the glute strength rather than the turn of the hip. Bring the knee back into the chest, take a gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through. So then come onto the fingertips, squeeze the belly back, try and elongate through the spine. Keep a rib and hip tether, raise the arms to the ears, then bring yourself to a 45-degree angle. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms, push the left heel back, right knee bent, relax the shoulders. Use the strength of the back to hold the pose. Try not to arch that spine. Squeeze the belly back, ribs and hips drawing towards each other to have that strong center. As we take our body into this 45-degree angle, it demands quite a lot of those muscles in the back to hold. Hold it just for 1 more breath, keeping that right knee bent. Then bring the hands back to the floor, lift the right leg back up to the ceiling, keeping the hips level, using the glute strength to lift that leg, left heel to the floor. Bring the right foot back to meet the left, take a little paddle through those feet. So doing exactly the same thing with the left side. Breath in raises the left leg. Hips stay level, right heel to the floor. Squeeze the bum on that left side to lift that left heel a little higher. Bring that knee into the chest. Squeeze those hip flexors to draw the knee in. Come with the shoulders over the heel of the hands. Bring your left knee to the left elbow. Drop it down towards that left wrist. Take it over to the right wrist, lift it up to the right elbow, back to the center, raise that left leg back to the ceiling, right heel to the mat, hips neutral, glute strength lifts that leg. Bring the knee back into the chest, take a gaze in between the hands, step your left foot through, come onto the fingertips, squeeze the ribs and hips towards each other, belly squeezes back. As you raise the arms to the ears, then lift that torso away from that thigh, drawing the belly away, pushing the right heel back, pushing into the whole of that left foot. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms, switch the muscles on in the back to keep that body in this position. Feeling that flexion of the shoulders, the strength of the belly, the strength of the glute on that right side. Fire it up as you straighten that right leg. Head in line with the spine, gazing just in front of that left foot. Keep that left knee bent, strengthening that left leg. 45-degree angle with the torso. One more breath here. Then release the hands down, lift that left leg again without lifting the left hip. Right heel to the floor, left foot back to meet the right. Take a little paddle of the feet, a little movement through the hips. And we'll take a little flow vinyasa here. Come forward to a plank. Release down, either bent knees or straight bodies, just to a hover. Then push up again, back to plank. Bend the knees, scoop through with the body, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, hands squeezing those heels back. We have one more standing pose, which is a side angle stretch, but strengthening one. Put the weight into the left foot, raise the right leg. Squeeze the right bum cheek to lift the leg higher without lifting that hip. Bring the knee to the chest, squeeze that hip flexor. Come forward with the shoulders. Right knee, right elbow. Right knee, right wrist. Right knee, left wrist. Right knee, left elbow. Right leg back to the ceiling. Using the glute to lift. Right knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands. Step the right foot through. Drop the left heel internally. Bring your right hand into the center. Left hand to the shoulder. Turn the shoulder first. Then reach the left hand forward. So choice, if you want to just stay in a stretch, you can stay here. If you want to come up onto your forearm, you can bring it to your forearm. Tuck that right bum cheek under and turn that left hip out. Right shoulder under, left shoulder to stack. If you're coming with me for the strength work, push into both feet. Raise that right hand up and out to the side so we get those long levers which will challenge those oblique muscles. Keep bent in that right knee, keep the shoulders turned to the left. Stretch, 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 stretch up through those arms. Feeling the strength of that corset, drawing the belly back, pushing strong and energetically into both feet. Next breath out, turn the chest, come onto the toes, into that 45-degree angle of lunge. Release the hands down, lift the right leg up to the ceiling. Try not to lift the hip. Use the glute strength to raise it. Bring the right foot down to meet the left. Take a paddle through those feet. So we're going to take that exact same thing on the left side. Breath in, raise the left leg. Right heel to the mat, hips neutral. Left leg lifts by glute strength. Bring the knee to the chest. Squeeze those hip flexors as tight as you can. Bring the shoulders over the heel of the hands. Left knee, left elbow. Left knee, left wrist. Left knee, right wrist. Left knee, right elbow. Send that leg back up to the ceiling. Straighten the leg. Right heel to the floor, hips neutral. Knee to the chest. Squeeze the ribs and hips together. Step the foot in between the hands. Drop the right heel to the midline, left hand onto the inside of the left foot, right hand onto the shoulder. Find the alignment of the shoulders first. Maybe bring the alignment of the hips with the hand. Then reach the right hand forward towards the front of the mat. Just staying here for a breath for the stretch. Then you can either come up onto that forearm, onto the left knee. If that's where you wish to stay, feel happy to do so. Keeping that left knee bent, switch on those muscles in the center, recruit that belly, draw it back, reach up with that left hand, keep the shoulders turned, the bum tucked under, length through the left side of the waist and the right side of the waist, energetically pushing into both feet, feeling the length up through the fingertips down to that right outside edge of the foot. Turn and twist that chest a little more to the right. One more breath here, then turn the shoulders to the 45-degree angle of lunge. Come onto the toes of that back foot. Then release the hands down, lift that left leg up to the ceiling, right heel to the floor, left foot back to meet the right. Take a vinyasa here. Coming with me, come forward to a plank. Release down, either dropping the knees or straight bodies to a hover. Push back up to plank, drop the knees, scoop the belly through, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Take a nice long, easy breath in, long breath out. Then make your way onto your knees. Cross the feet over behind you or swing the legs around. Bring yourself onto your bum. Then down to the floor. Bring the knees into the chest. Give those knees a squeeze. Then release those feet back to the mat. Let the knees drop out to the side. Soles of the feet come together. Let go of any recruitment breath you're holding. Just take it nice and passive, nice and easy. Inhales. Long exhales. Let those shoulders relax down. They've been doing lots and lots of work with the planks. Try and give in them hips a little bit. Maybe have a rock of the knees from side to side. Take a long breath in through the nose. Take a long sigh out through the mouth. Then relax through the legs, let them come long on the mat if you're happy to do so, or if you need to drop the knees internally and the feet out to the edges of the mat. Turn the palms up, let the fingers gently curl. Take a long out breath and just allow everything to give to the mat. Think about how that core strength feels, how the glutes feel, the shoulders and the pelvis, knowing that you've worked really strong if you've done the whole practice through recruitment. Your body should be warm, so we're just trying to bring that temperature back down, that heart rate back to a little calmer. Just consolidating all that we've just done. A little different from your normal vinyasa flows. When we're holding poses, it demands so much more of those muscles rather than relying on momentum to carry the body into different places. A weekly practice of strength and conditioning is always good. It helps you with the rest of your yoga practices. It helps you move with better alignment. It helps you move more dynamically in a better way. So feel free just to do this strength class whenever you wish. If you wish to stay here for a little longer in relaxation, then pause me now. But if you wish to come out, maybe have a wriggle of the fingers, a wriggle of the toes, and maybe bring those knees in towards the chest. Give those knees a squeeze. And then just energetically rock up and down that spine a couple of times, coming up to seated once and back, up to seated twice and back. And on the third time, make your way into a seat, cross-leg position. Eyes gently closed. Take a breath in, bring the hands up and over the head, palms together at the top, bring the hands back to the chest, soft gaze down to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours, namaste. So I hope you enjoy that practice. If you're like me, you're very sweaty. And like I said, through that relaxation process, it's always good to do a strength and conditioning class at least once a week or once a fortnight, just to get that better alignment, that better core recruitment. Remember, the exhale when you're doing strength work is when you make the limbs longer or make the challenge harder. Usually in yoga, when we do flexibility, we use the out breath to stretch. But in strength work, you use the out breath to recruit and keep that center strong. Have a great day and hope to see you soon. Namaste.